This right here is a perfect little cocktail for after dinner. This week, let me show you how to make a thirsty monk. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, today I'm making a perfect little after dinner drink. I'm making a thirsty monk, and I got the idea for this cocktail when I was looking for ways I could use this. This is Genepi. This is like a French-Italian liqueur. It's from the Alps, and it's kind of reminiscent of like yellow chartreuse. It's in the same kind of vein. It's sweet, it's herbal, it is a little bit botanical. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of in the same vein as yellow chartreuse. And I was looking for ways I could use this in cocktails, and I came across the Thirsty Monk. That was invented by Andrew King at the Fig restaurant in South Carolina, and it's a very nice little cocktail. It's very herbal, like a little digestif. You can have it after drinks, to kind of after dinner, to kind of settle your stomach. It's got like herbal botanical ingredients to it, and just it is really tasty. For the main ingredients in the cocktail, it does call for bourbon, specifically Buffalo Trace bourbon. That's for me, it's a classic little bourbon. There's nothing really special or unique about Buffalo Trace, but at the same time, it goes right down the middle, giving you a really great little bourbon profile. So if you ever want like a classic bourbon note without anything kind of skewing off in one direction or another, Buffalo Trace is classic for that. It also calls for some Benedictine, which is again a French kind of herbal liqueur. It isn't connected to the Benedictine monastery, despite looking like it would be one of those kind of classic drinks made by monks. It is a private company, but that's kind of where the name comes from, the Thirsty Monk, because the Benedictine monks are real monks. Like I said, it also calls for a little bit of Genepi and some lemon juice to give it a bit of like citrus, a bit of like a zing, a bit of a lift up, and some Peychaud's bitters. Now the original recipe calls for 12 drops of Peychaud's bitters, which is where you hold it and you very carefully drop out, or you use like a little dropper. You can get like a very precise dropper. I did a bit of research and I looked up really what is 12 drops versus dashes, and apparently you get 4 drops in every dash. So I'm going to be going in with 3 dashes just for ease, just for simplicity. But if you have one of those little droppers, or you're willing to be patient and go 12 slow drops, you can go in with 12 drops of Peychaud's. But that's enough time talking about the cocktail. I think it's time we make it. It is going to be a shake and drink, so we're going to get our shaker tin and we're going to pop a nice rock of ice into there before we measure out our ingredients. Starting off with our bourbon, with our Buffalo Trace. We're going to go in with 1.5 ounces or 45 ml of our Buffalo Trace. Like I said, just a classic bourbon. Really hard to go wrong with Buffalo Trace. Just gives you a nice, good profile. Next up, we're going to go in with our Genepi. We're going to go in with 22.5 ml or like 3/4 ounce into there. This does come in at 40% alcohol by volume, so it is fairly strong. It does have a fairly strong character to it, and that's going to give us a lot of those, like I said, herbal notes, make it like a digestive, like settling your stomach. Then we're going to go in with our Benedictine. Again, this is another one of those herbal liqueurs coming in at 40% alcohol by volume, so there is a fair amount of booze in here, but it is very nice and very refreshing. We're going to go in with 15 ml or 1/2 ounce of our Benedictine, which is a little bit thicker, a little bit syrupier, a little bit like sweeter than the Genepi, but again, in that same direction of those like botanical notes. Then we're going to go in with our lemon juice. Again, freshly squeezed lemon juice, nice and simple. Going to go in with 1/2 ounce or 15 ml of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and that's going to give us like a little bit of lightness, a bit of brightness. It's going to make the cocktail just a little bit zingier, a little bit brighter, because all those herbal notes are going to be pulling it in one direction. Then our Peychaud's bitters, like I said, I'm going in with 3 dashes, but originally 12 drops. So 1, 2, 3 dashes into there. I'm going to pop the top on, bang it down, and shake it away for about 30 seconds to get it nice and cold. Okay, I think that is nicely chilled. So I'm going to bang the top off my cocktail shaker and going to strain it out into a nice chilled Nick and Nora glass. I'm going to get my Hawthorne strainer up top and just pour away, nice and simple. Catch all those little ice chips, just like that. Now for a garnish, we're going to go in with 2 little twists of lemon. One of them, just going to express the oils over the top, get all those kind of nice lemony aromatics in there. Discard that and take another one that I've cut a little slit in, so I can just perch it over the edge, just like that. And that right there is how I make a thirsty monk. Now real quick before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday, like the review of that Buffalo Trace bourbon. There'll be a link to that down below. I also put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskey every Friday, so if you want to see more like that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know what kind of cocktails you think I should make in future. But now, let's taste this one. Cheers. Like, it's surprisingly sweet up front. Like, you get, again, the bourbon, Buffalo Trace, it's nice, it's sweet. The Genepi is a little bit sweet. The Benedictine is also sweet and also herbal, but when you put them all together with a little bit of lemon juice, kind of adding a bit of citrusy sweetness, it actually is surprisingly sweet up front. It's quite approachable, and then you get a lot of the herbal qualities right behind. You get like the herbal qualities in all those, in the bitters, in the Benedictine, in the Genepi, the little bit of almost like spicy notes, like the cinnamon stuff you get from the Buffalo Trace bourbon, all comes together and gives it a different kind of an angle as well. Yeah, the citrus I think is really important to balance it out, because if you didn't have that citrus, giving it like that different skew, giving it that bit of a left turn, I think it'd be way too herbal. I think it'd be way too unbalanced. I think the Peychaud's bitters, aside from giving it a nice bit of color, they add like that, almost like the salt and pepper, the little bit of a contrast, just to give you a nice little note. It is, like I said, a great little after dinner cocktail because it's not huge, but it is quite boozy. So you want to kind of sip it. You want to let those herbal notes kind of sit there, settle your stomach, and really kind of enjoy it. So I'm going to keep on enjoying it, and I will see you next time. Sláinte.